Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another short little unboxing video to share with you guys. Something from Tactile Knife Co. or Tactile Knives. I'm not sure if they still put the Co on the end of it. I do. Tactile Knives make stuff in the United States, which is something that I love. Now, I will buy things from anywhere, from any country. I'm a knife person, right? So if it's interesting, we'll probably take a look at it. Personally, I will many times spend more money to buy something that's made in the United States because that's really important to me. It doesn't have to be important to you. It's just something that I like. So I'm always interested to see what Tactile Knife Co. will release. This is a slip joint, which is not something that I traditionally look at. But the knife looked cool. I told him, I said, I'll look at it if it looks interesting, right? And there's also some interesting elements here as far as, what goes into the creation of it. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I think this releases on the 28th or the 29th. They're going to kill me because they made it like super clear. I'll put it in the description. I'll link in the description. You guys can check it out. I don't know when you're watching it. Ideally sometime before then. But thanks so much to Tactile Knives for sending this in. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Let's open this up and take a look at the Ranger, a knife you'll be proud to own. Designed by Jared Oser. I almost forgot about that. I'm really glad that I turned this this box over. They've got that super, like that old school Western, like the old like Western look, right? This box honestly looks like it could have come, from a long time ago. So I kind of like that sort of orange and tanned vintage, like ultra vintage look. Titanium Magna Cut 6364. I'm going to guess that the blade on this is super duper thin, right? This is slip joint knives are not, traditionally like hard use knives. So you're going to get a lot of mileage out of that high HRC Magna Cut for sure. And then we have Brent made sure that this was good to go on October 2nd. All right. Yeah, we got the little shield in there. Definitely a classic look. Very cool. Right off the bat, I love that there's a ton of space. And the nick is large, or the little, whatever you want to call that, right? It's large and looks like it'd be very easy to get at. Nothing frustrates me more than not being able to access the part of the knife that is designed to allow you to open it. Like, if it's a hole, if it's a nail nick, if it's a thumb stud, stop tucking it behind crap. We can't get in there. I don't understand how that gets to a certain point, and the guy that's responsible for greenlighting design's like, yeah, that's good. You got about a 30% chance of getting it on the first try. That's good to go. No more design needs to go into that. So without trying to open it, I appreciate that this area, because man, some of those older slip joints, how it's like, whose fingernails? There's been Dracula's fingernails. Is that who's opening this up, right? But yeah, this, I thought it was wood. It looks like it's micarta. Nice captive pivot. And then we got the adjustment head over here, and it looks like this is a slip joint that you can actually take apart with Torx. So you will have to use your fingernail. I'll tell you this. I tried to grab at it. I realized this whole thing is a swedge. So you're just going to slip up off it. But using my fingernail, yeah, quite a bit of tension there. So the fact that this is easy to get at is super important. Definitely quite a bit. Huge snap. Pulling this as far as ranking this against other, this is a good looking slip joint. Very, very American looking knife. As far as ranking this against other slip joints, it's a heavy pull. And I always forget if you go towards they always rank these on like a scale of 1 to 10. And I always forget if 1 is the heaviest or 10 is the heaviest. Let's say it's on the heavier side, right? If 10 is the heaviest, I would say this feels like an 8. Like it's up there, definitely, maybe even more. But it's a good, solid feeling. And honestly, there's a couple of things. Wow. Getting to the half stop position, can I do this with one hand without accidentally cracking myself? Yeah, that's a lot. The tension, holy moly. There's no way it's going to open up in your pocket. No way. I really appreciate this so much more now. Real deep. You can definitely get in there. And then I almost have to readjust to get it into the open position. So here's something that's really interesting that they let me know. They said, before you open it, let us tell you something about it. So I read the text and it said that each knife is assembled. Number one, this is made in the United States. So regardless of your opinion on like small knife should be small money and big knife should be big money. No, but let's expand. This knife is made in the United States, and probably almost all of the parts are made small batch in-house. So it's going to be expensive, right? On top of that, another process they do, which I think is really cool because it probably allows for the overall fit and finish of each individual knife to be optimized. The blade and the frame and the back spring are all assembled together, and then each individual piece is cut to fit each other. So it's not a blanket, so they don't do like a pre-cut and just be like, well, I hope they always line up. Apparently, they do each one individually. Each frame, each back spring, and each blade are cut to fit. They assemble it, and then they see how they need to cut it, and then they reassemble it, right? So that's really cool. And it looks like that is definitely the case. That looks really, really clean to me. The backspacer, oh, this is all seamless. Really nice. Yeah, that's solid. It's also tactile. This is bigger than I thought it was going to be, which is something that I like. Part of the reason truthfully, I like knives that lock, right? I also like knives that are like flicky and fidgety, and the slip joints don't normally do that for me. That doesn't mean that I hate them all. But another thing that I usually don't like is like, it just feels so small. It doesn't feel natural in my, like when we're talking about traditional slip joint style knives, they feel small. They don't feel natural in the hand. This is probably an inch to an inch and a half bigger than what I was expecting based on the picture. So I like that because I can get a full grip on it. You're not going to want to push on the spine for two reasons. Number one, it doesn't lock, so that should be obvious. Number two, this is all a swedge, right? Now, admittedly, the amount of force that it would take, you guys saw me try to push that over with my thumb. Golly. I gotta say, I like that. I do think that feels good. It inspires confidence in a design that does not traditionally inspire confidence. I think slip joint style knives are responsible for a lot of accidental finger cuts because people forget or they slip in the moment, and the thing is, there's no lock, so the blade closes. You have to make sure that all of the pressure goes right into the blade. Admittedly, when I was a kid, all of my starting pocket knives were slip joints. And I have to wonder, did my dad just not think about that? Or was he like, yeah, that's how they learned that blades are sharp. Give them a slip joint knife and they'll cut the crap out of them. I cut myself so many times with that same knife that I showed you guys, that my very first pocket knife, the one that actually a bunch of you and Scott had restored for me. That knife cut me probably 80 times growing up. Slip joint knife, multi-blade, right? So that's part of the reason why, but you really have to be cognizant about what you're cutting and where the pressure is going. But this is cool. Another reason that I'm just trying to be honest with you guys, because I do like this, but I don't want people to be like, oh, he's got a free knife, so he's only going to say nice things about it. I myself am an internet detective, and I gotta call these YouTubers out on the shilling. No, it is cool, right? But I also want to be honest with you. Another reason I don't like to carry these types of knives normally is because they usually don't have a pocket clip. I wish that... Why can't we have an option? Because listen, I probably would carry this quite a bit if there was a clip option. You have a screw right here that goes into the backspacer. So why can't we have a slotted option? So you don't have this area right here or an extra screw hole or like a filler tab situation that's milled out and creates an eyesore, right? You have a wraparound and slotted clip option. You only need one screw for that, and you've got plenty of titanium to fit something in there. It could be an optional thing. I think that would be really, really cool. I'm just spitballing here, right? Geometry, typically, slip joints are not known for being like the most slicey, right? They tend to not have a lot of room, even with a thin stock, to end up having absolutely amazing cutting geometry, but I have no doubt that this will cut just fine. It does look pretty thick, though. That's a hefty boy there. Yeah, obviously the factory edge, cutting paper doesn't really prove anything. We're just testing the factory edge, right? But it's sharpened really well, definitely. Like the factory edge is great. It definitely does have, for this style of knife, it has a thicker geometry. So you try to push this into a piece of cardboard, you'll definitely get through it, but you'll notice that it's creating more resistance than something like the Opinel, right? Which is a fully flat ground, taller and thinner blade by comparison. But I think for what they set out to do, this is pretty cool. It is going to be pricey, right? A lot of people think, it's a slip joint, so it can't be over X amount of money. Everybody has their line, right? Does that mean that it can't be? No, it just means that your preferences or people's individual preferences are all different. As far as looking at what's actually going into it, which is the way that we should look at it, US company, right? All in-house, or probably 99.9% in-house. There might be one thing, right? They might outsource some part of the pivot or something like that. And then on top of that, they have additional processes. Each one of these is being cut to fit per knife. That's time and money. That's definitely part of it, right? It might not matter to you, but that's definitely part of it. So I think these come in at $350. I get it. That's a wet canoe paddle to the face, right? But at the same time, looking at all the different stuff that I have, my main thing is I want the fit and finish to be good. Love American-made stuff. We obviously have premium materials, titanium check, Magna Cut check, right? That's just part of the equation. You definitely have good fit and finish. This does exactly what I would expect a slip joint to do. On top of that, that tension is actually really satisfying. I really like that. So big fan of that. Centering looks good. That's great. That's what we like to see. So yeah, it's not going to be a price that everybody's going to want to pay, but I think they did a pretty good job with this, honestly, first impression. So cool stuff. I'll be back with the full review. I wish this had a pocket clip. I just don't like the way that these fall into my pocket, but okay. I still want to carry it and use it and give you guys my thoughts down the road. That's going to be it today. Links for this guy in the description. If you're watching this early, you might have to wait a couple of days. Maybe you're watching it slightly late. I don't know. I'll try and link what I can in the description. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex and on TikTok at _metal. There's the card. At _metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like. So check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.